Hello, welcome again to Exploring the Bible. I'm your host, Nathanael Morel. Now, in this particular video, as you see, I am in a different place than I would usually be, which is in the study desk. But we're actually going to be doing a small little cooking class. And as the title of this video is called, How to Cook Rice and Beans a Healthy Way, Dominican Style. And my family comes from the Dominican Republic, and my mother always cooks rice and beans for the family for dinner time or lunchtime. So I felt it was proper, since we did a couple videos before these. If you want to go back to the history, you can see it. I did a couple videos talking about the Daniel diet and looking at what was the diet that Daniel partook of, and which was fruits and vegetables. And then I did another video showing comparing fruits and vegetables and their vitamins and their nutrients and their minerals to meat and flesh foods. And we saw that flesh foods do have protein, but also plant-based diet also has lots of protein. Flesh foods do not have any minerals in it, yet plant-based diet has a whole bunch of iron and calcium and vitamin A, vitamin E, vitamin C, things and nutrients and minerals that flesh foods don't have. So today we're going to be doing a small demonstration on how to cook certain foods, plant-based foods, rice and beans, a healthy way and free of disease, and a very good, because Ellen White says we should learn, God gave us a variety of foods, and we should learn how to cook them in a helpful and palatable manner. Palatable meaning good to the taste, is good to eat. People would like it. So we're going to try to make this as easy as possible, as simple for you to understand. It shouldn't be that much time consuming. Again, it shouldn't take no more than half an hour to do this whole thing. You know, going properly one by one instructions, showing you how to cook nice and yummy rice and beans. So first, what we have here is we have a pot for the rice. We're going to be doing the rice first. And then while the rice is cooking, we will be doing the beans. I have the beans in the pressure cooker right there. We'll take them out when it's time for it. So here I have some white rice. And I like white rice, and also do members of my family. I really do not like the taste of brown rice. It's something that I never really liked even when I was small. But if you do want to cook brown rice, here for white rice, if I have 4 cups of white rice here. And for 4 cups of white rice, I will put 4 cups of water. In brown rice, if you want to cook 4 cups of rice, you will put 2 cups for every cups of rice of water. So 4 cups of rice, you will have 8 cups of water for brown rice. So the ratio of water and rice is 2 to 1 when it comes to brown rice. For white rice is 1 to 1. 1 cup of rice, 1 cup of water. In brown rice, 1 cup of rice, 2 cups of water. So I'm going to turn on the stove. I'm going to put this on high. I'm going to grab some extra virgin olive oil, which is the most healthiest oil. I'm going to put it in there, and this is how much you want to put. At least enough that when you put, it will cover the whole entire pot. And then you want to grab some sea salt. This is the most healthiest salt, and you want to put enough that you would see it. That looks like enough. Again, that's probably about a tablespoon and a half of salt, and then you would add your water. Now you would add 4 cups of water because I have 4 cups of rice. Now I just put the rest of the cups of water that we use for the rice. So now what we do is we wait until the oil and water boils. Once the oil and water boils, which will be, I have it on high, it should take about 3 to 5 minutes. Once that starts to boil, then I will put the rice into the pot. So we'll just wait a little and wait for the rice to boil. So as we see now, this water is just begun to boil. You can see it, it's just cracking now, it's boiling. So now what you would do is, you would go and take, look at that water boil. You will want to turn the exhaust on, and I'll start pouring the rice inside the water. This rice is already washed. I washed it. And we're just going to pour it in there inside the boiling water. And don't worry, the water doesn't look like it's boiling anymore, but it will continue to boil once the rice is seated in there. And again, if you suffer from high blood pressure or things like that, that you cannot eat a lot of salt, then put less salt. The rice doesn't have to be cooked with a bunch of salt, or for a more palatable taste, we put salt on the rice, and that's the amount that we put. I'll be posting inside the video the exact amount of how much salt I would put. But again, if you have a condition that you cannot eat salt, then don't worry about it. Then just add the minimal salt you can, if not any. So I'm just going to put this there, and the water will continue to boil now that the rice is put. It's sort of stopped a little, and you just want to leave the rice there, and every couple minutes just turn it a little. Just turn it so then that way the rice won't stick all the way down to the bottom, and then it would burn. So every couple minutes just give it a nice little stir, and then just leave it there to sit until the water fully evaporates from the rice. Once the water evaporates, then we're ready to take the next step. As you see, some of the water has already evaporated fully. I'm just going to give it one more mixture. Just so then the rice again won't stick to the bottom and then burn. So once the water fully evaporates, you want to take the top. The water is just about fully evaporated. I'm waiting for that part to really evaporate a little bit. Okay, so now what you would do is you will place the top and cover it and put it on low number 2, and then you will take the timer and time it for just about 24 minutes. 24 minutes should be enough, and while it's cooking, while the rice is cooking for those 24 minutes, don't lift off the cover. Taking the cover off while the rice is actually cooking could actually damage the way the rice is being cooked. Or so my mother would say whenever we are too hungry and we would lift up the top, she'll go, "You already ruined it." So keep the cover on until you can take the cover off when it's about 2 minutes, 1 minute. But really the water is already evaporated, so it's already cooking for the next 23 minutes. And really you may ask and say, well, what's the importance of learning how to cook? Why really must I learn how to cook? And a lot of people, what they do is, a young family, a husband is working all day long, and when he gets home, he expects his lovely, beautiful wife to have, some food on the table so then he can eat, get his nourishment, get his strength back, and then he can go and do some more work at the house, or go out with his wife and just enjoy life. And sometimes what happens is, or the other way around, the husband can be home and the wife is off to work, and when the wife comes back, she's hungry and she wants some to eat. And most of the time men don't really know how to cook. I don't know how to cook all that much, but I do know how to cook this, and I know how to cook certain other things. And really all that sometimes guys can do is provide peanut butter jelly or cereal, and that's just not good enough. The wife wants a husband reliable who can cook and give her some nourishment. The husband wants a wife that's reliable, that can cook, that can give him nourishment, and that way everybody's happy. So a lot of times in nowadays society, just go to McDonald's and get a Happy Meal, and that'll be good. And really that's not good. McDonald's is not healthy, and it's cheap, and it's not all there. So if you have the talent to cook, or if you don't, I would suggest you learn, because that is a very important talent that young men look for in women, and it's an important talent that young women look for in a godly man. So that's the importance of cooking. We want to make it as tasteful and as healthy as possible. So now as the rice is cooking, there's 21 minutes left in the rice. So now we're going to begin to cook our beans. I have a slightly bigger pot here for the beans than this one, still almost the same style. So I have here the pressure cooker. And in the pressure cooker, the beans are already soft. As you can see, they've already been cooked. So now what you will do is you would turn on this pot. I'm just going to remove this so then you guys can look a little more closer. And as you turn on the pot for the beans, again, you want to put some olive oil. Just about the same amount as the rice, until it basically covers most of the things, most of the corners by itself. Then what you will want to do is you want to take a green bell pepper. You want to cut it, cut 1/4 of a green bell pepper, or one small side, and you throw that in there. Then you have a white onion, and you get that white onion, you peel it, you wash it, and you chop it in 4 pieces. So that's what I did here. So you want your white onions in there. Then you have tomato paste. This is regular tomato paste, and it doesn't matter what brand, as long as it's tomato paste. You have tomato paste with salt, without salt, with basil and peppers, but I use just the regular plain tomato paste. So I just get a regular spoon, and I just put a couple spoonfuls, almost basically the whole can, and just put it in there. I'll put a couple more. Then you want to take some adobo. Now this is a Spanish seasoning, and there's a few different types of adobo. This is the blue cap. You also got red caps, and this is a seasoning used for various things when it comes to cooking, when it comes to especially Spanish food. The good thing about this adobo, this seasoning, is that it doesn't have MSG, and MSG is a bad product. So what you want to do is you want to fill it up. Fill the blue cap up to the middle, and you want to just pour it in there. And you don't want to pour too much of it because then it becomes salty. I'm just going to take it out a little because it might burn. And then here's another Spanish seasoning. It's called Sazón Tropical, or tropical seasoning. And really what you want to do is you want to take about 1 tablespoon of it and just fill it, and this will give it more enrichment of flavor. This too has no MSG, which is harmful for you. It causes headaches, severe headaches, and high blood pressure and things of that nature. So these are healthy seasonings. What you also want to do is you want to take some garlic. Now this is already garlic, minced garlic. Also, if you want to, you can take the garlic and smash it yourself, and that'll do just the same. But for the sake of time, I've already got some minced garlic, and what you want to do with this is you want to take 1 teaspoon of it. 1 teaspoon of minced garlic, that's good enough, and just add it in there. And then you want to take some oregano. Oregano is also a very good, we use it in the Spanish community for flavor. It's a very good seasoning, also with no MSG. You want to take about a 1/2 spoon of oregano and just add it in there. Now that you got all these ingredients, look at it right here. So I got my tomato paste, garlic, oregano, tropical seasoning, adobo, onions, and the little piece of green bell pepper. Now I will go put it back here, turn it on, and it doesn't matter how high you put it. And when it starts, when the oil really starts to fry what's in here, then you want to mix it. You do not put salt because these seasonings are already salty, as it were. You're not going to over salt it because the beans are going to have a lot of water added onto it. So as you see, the oil, I'm going to shut this off. We don't need it anymore. You can hear the oil is like frying the food in here. Now what you want to do is you just want to mix these things here. Just mix it and get it really nice and mixed. And if you smell this, this smells absolutely very good. You're gonna love this smell. And the good thing is that all these ingredients, all these products are not expensive. They are not expensive. Now when you see it like that, now you want to take your beans. You're going to take a bigger spoon. And these have already been in the pressure cooker. Now you have to use the right pressure cooker. I'm going to be adding the beans on to this right here. If you have the wrong pressure cooker, or usually what I would do with the beans is I would leave them to soak in water for about 5 to 8 hours before I actually start cooking, because if you just grab the beans in the pressure cooker and put them in the pressure cooker to cook, it could take hours, if not longer. So some people like to leave the beans soaked overnight, and that's not a problem. As long as it's, by the time it gets in the pressure cooker, it should be soaked, soft, and it should be easy to cook, no more than an hour. Now I would put some beans in here, and as I put beans in here, it gets mixed with the onions, with the seasoning, and with everything else that we put in. And I just want the seasoning to sort of catch on the beans, so then it can make like a creamy liquid. So let the beans soak all the seasoning that we have put in. And as you see, it's already getting a little bit mushy. That's a good sign. That means that it's absorbing the tomato paste, it's absorbing the seasoning that we put in. Then I will put the rest of the beans. And I would mix it. And then right away I would add a little bit of water to this. Here I have a pot of water. And don't worry, you need to add water so that it could absorb the salt of the seasoning. So I added water, then I will mix the beans. That's good. And that's how the beans should look. It should have that nice brown color, all the seasoning mixed. And if you notice, it's only been about less than 8 minutes, so it's not that much time consuming. It takes more time actually to pressure cook the beans. Once you pressure cook the beans and the beans are soft, it's ready to cook. The rest will be done in less than 25 minutes. So you just want to leave the beans there until the beans start boiling. And once the beans start boiling, that means that I would leave it boiling for about 10 minutes. And that would really absorb, let the seasoning of the onions and the seasoning for the garlic and the seasoning of the bell pepper, and that would let out that flavor that they release and incorporate it to the beans. So I would leave it boiling for about 5 to 10 minutes, just so that the flavor of the onions and such can be absorbed into the beans. And then in a little bit, once it starts boiling, I am going to add some of this cilantro that's there. And the rice still has 12 minutes to go. And this should be enough food for a family of 5 to 6, depending also on how much you eat. But we're a family of 5, and it serves enough until sometimes the next day. So this is enough for a family of 5 if you eat it good, and it should last, at least the beans should last 2 days, if not. The rice could also last 2 days. You know, after you eat it, you want to put these 2 things in the fridge so then it could be preserved. And then when you're ready to partake of it of the next day, you would just heat them up, and it'll be almost just as the same. But for its freshness, I would eat it all when it's cooked in that same day. And the beans are beginning to boil right now. Again, you want to mix the beans just a little bit, so then the beans won't accumulate in the bottom and burn. That's always important, that the food doesn't burn. And this is fairly simple how to do. This is how the way you can cook Dominican styled rice and beans, or as I like to say, arroz y habichuela, and it tastes good. It's very good to the taste. My mother would make the beans when we are during fellowship dinner at church, and sometimes I can't even go for seconds. Everybody just takes the beans, and when I go for seconds, it's too late. Everybody's already gone. They already ate it. So I'm just like, man, everybody took all the beans. But this is just to show that God gave us healthy food that's very good to taste, very good to eat, very healthful. Just the beans alone, and these are just for the record, these are pinto beans that we're cooking right here. You can do the same with black beans or red beans or kidney beans. A couple beans vary a little bit on how you cook them, but these are pinto beans, and they are very high in protein. Rice is very high in protein. It's high in calcium and iron and all those things. So, and those are the nutrients that you will get in these foods, but you won't get eating beef or any other meat product or flesh products. So this is a very, I think I heard a report saying that if you want to switch from meat eating to plant-based foods, beans are one option. Tofu is another option. Tofu is good because tofu is tasteless, and you could basically have whatever taste you want the tofu to be taste like. You can add the flavors in it yourself to make it taste whatever you want to, and it's a good substitute for meat. A lot of people cannot eat beans because they can't digest them right. So just look on Google, whatever substitute you find. There's a lot of things out there that's good, and they taste great. Now, sometimes a lot of people don't cook them right. I had a friend that says, I hate rice and beans. And I go, why? Because my mom would just take the beans, take them from the can, and just add salt to them and just eat them just like that. And I'm like, that tastes like a box wood cardboard. You know, you really have to take time to cook the things properly, because if you don't cook them right, then that's how you're going to get sick. So this is how you cook the beans, Dominican style. As you can see, they are already began to boil. Now I'm going to grab the cilantro, and I'm just going to add the cilantro in there. And let the beans boil a little more, so then the cilantro can release its flavor. And that's going to add a small little spunk to the beans. It's not necessarily important, but I like to put it on, and I would leave it cooking for about 10 minutes. Basically, when the rice is finished, the rice has 8 minutes left. So basically, when the rice is ready, this will be ready to eat. And then you can enjoy your meal. This is a nice, simple way, and it's very good. It's very tasty. Again, it might take you a few times to really learn how to do it, but this is one way of God's plan of having us eat healthy food, good to the taste, and people are just gonna like it if you really have the mindset to learn how to cook. People are gonna like this dish. It's very good. I was born and raised in it. I'll go crazy without it, as I always say. As I always tell people, I'll be crazy without rice and beans. You know. So I had to learn how to cook it myself. So then, if mom's not home, and I have to be the one that cooks for the family, so I would learn how to cook rice and beans and provide. My brothers will also learn, and if you have a husband out there that you want to teach him how to cook, or if you have a wife out there that if any of you women or any of you men are looking for some dish that's nice so then you can cook, hey, this is the way to go. All you have to do is just learn how to use your pressure cooker. Once you learn how to use your pressure cooker, put the beans in water, leave them to soak for some hours, if not overnight. When you bring them out the next morning, they should be nice and soaked, nice and soft. Put them in the pressure cooker. It should take no longer than an hour. And then once that happens, boom, this is how you do it. This is how you cook the beans. This is how you cook the rice. As you see, the beans are already boiling. Now I would lower it to number 4, between low and medium. And just again, every once in a while, just mix it around. mix it. That way it won't accumulate at the bottom and it won't burn. I'll lower it down a little more. And you can have this with tomatoes. I like to have rice and beans with tomatoes and have a little salad in the side and mix it up all together with maybe some cucumber. Also, sometimes what I do is I would have my fruits and vegetables. I'll probably eat an apple or have a peach or have an orange before, or a mango before I eat. And then once I eat the fruit, then I will eat the rice and beans. So that way I have the calcium, I have the iron, I have the protein, and then I also have first the vitamins, essential for the digestion and essential for the body. Again, these are things that nutritions and elements that you are not going to find in a flesh food diet. And this is more healthier. Why eat protein secondhand? You know, this is first-hand nutrition here. So why eat it secondhand when you know it's not all that healthy for you, especially all the chemicals that they're putting in the meat products. So this is a very simple way on how to do. This is the Dominican style of how to do rice and beans, or the Spanish style of how to do rice and beans. And it varies from different types of culture of Spanish. You know, Puerto Ricans cook it a little different. Mexicans cook it different. Cubans cook it a bit different. Dominicans cook it different. So it varies a little bit from different Spanish cultures and countries. Not all Spanish people cook food the same. So just like here in America, you have food from the South, you have Cajun, you have Northern food, you have West. You know, it's different styles depending on which part of the United States do you go in. The same thing with Spanish people. It's way different. They cook foods differently in each different places. So this is one of the places. This is Dominican style, and this is all natural, all perfectly healthy. All the seasonings we use, MSG free, all based on plants, and they give a nice flavor and taste to it. I wish you could taste it, but we can't feed the camera. So we'll be back in a little bit when the 4 minutes are up, and then we'll show you how the way the rice came out. Alright, so now we're prepared to take out the rice. As you see, there's 10 seconds left, so it doesn't matter. And this is how the way the rice should look. And you would just mix it. Just give it a mix. Turn that off. And this rice is ready to eat as is. It's a little hot, so if you want to wait just a little bit for it to cool down. But if you are hungry like me, I'll just right now just take a plate and serve the rice, serve my beans, and just eat it. Cut some tomatoes, maybe have a little bit of salad, and that's dinner or lunch for me right there. And that will keep you satisfied of hunger, pleasing to the taste. I'll just cover this up. And these beans are already ready, so I am just going to mix them one more time, shut them off. Look how rich these beans are. This is very good tasting right here. And really I just want to close out with this small quote. This is taken from Adventist Home. You could also read it in Ministry of Healing, page 302. This is Ellen White writing to women, but it also goes to men. She says, young women think that it is menial to cook and to do other kinds of housework. And for this reason, many girls who marry and have to take care of their families have little idea of the duties devolving upon a wife and mother. So, you know, if you are a young girl or a young man, and you know, and I'm not talking about impressing, but just think about it. When you marry, you know, you want to take care of your spouse, and one way to do it, you know, you got to cook. You know, sometimes you got to do your part. Either your wife cooks, or you wash the dishes, or the other way around, or you know, you share the household duties. No man or no woman likes, after a long day's work, come to the house, you know, the dishes are all racked, the house is dirty, and worst of all, your spouse has not cooked for you. And men be like, so what's up for dinner? Well, let's go out to eat. Well, we went out yesterday, and we went out the day before, and well, let's go grab some McDonald's or some pizza. You know, that's good every once in a while, but that's not what dinner should be, especially for a family. You know, a mother, how you are going to take care of your children? You're not going to keep buying McDonald's Happy Meals or quarter-pound burgers from Burger King. You know, you got to feed your children healthy foods that will will nourish them properly, that they love to eat because it's good for the taste, and have all the nutrients. McDonald's and fast foods ain't gonna do it. That's not, we see how society is today. Because of it, you know, society has health problems, diabetes, heart attack, heart problems, and cancer, all because people eat too much fast foods. But really, if you just take the simple plant-based foods that God gave us and we apply it properly, we know how to cook. Look what we did just with a few rice and beans, and this will be enough to satisfy anybody. You know, you have guests, everybody will love this dish. So this is what I wanted to show a little today, just a little demonstration on how to cook plant-based foods following the Daniel diet and the diet that God gave us. So I hope you like this video. Thank you for liking this video. If you like it, please press like. Also, don't forget we are on Facebook at Expounding the Bible. Until then, this is your host Nathanael Morel saying, have a blessed day.